our session begins, we really wanted to talk to you regarding the disappointment with the unwillingness of the Democratic majority to address critical public policy issues they've ignored for these past several months. Their lack of concern for taxpayers couldn't be more evident than the bills contained on today's board list. This is the party that takes offense when they are aptly described as do-nothing Democrats. But after reviewing today's agenda, how could you ever come to a different conclusion? Taxpayers want a solution to pension and benefit problems. Democrats told us it would be done by mid-March. We're into April, and now into May. I thought, and our caucus thought, they meant this year, not 2012. We're still waiting to discuss the governor's conditional vetoes on civil service reform, sick leave payouts, and the Democrats' response is to do nothing but sulk. They've earned the title do-nothing Democrats because they disappoint our taxpayers. They promised last summer that the remaining items in the toolkit would be considered. These are the bills that help support our towns and our schools in an effort to keep spending under control and to stay within the 2.0 cap law. Now their answer is that we don't need them. They don't need them. The mayors need them. Last week, the state's daily newspapers commented, Democrats, while protecting public workers, are dragging their feet to hurt Governor Christie politically. Even though pension reform, health care, and civil service reforms would bring real savings, it's politics over progress. We couldn't have said that any better ourselves. After looking at the bills on today's board list, it's obvious that the majority of Democrats are considered to be do-nothing, and mainly because they control the agenda in the Assembly, are purposely ignoring the pleas of taxpayers who have no intention of fixing New Jersey's fiscal problems, which they mainly have created. The people in New Jersey deserve a government that understands their concerns and takes the necessary steps to resolve their problems. And unfortunately, the Democratic Party is more interested in sound bites than sound policy.
It's the fourth quarter. The towns have to put their budgets together. They are looking for Trenton to do what's necessary to assist them with their budgets. We have a session today, and what the Democrats have proposed is to urge the federal government to act. I appreciate their concern for the federal policies that they agree or disagree with, but we have serious concerns here. We have budgets that are bloated. We need to fix these budgets. We need to give them those tools. There are 12 to 14 more toolkit items that the governor has proposed that sit there in committees and don't move. So as the governor has said, stop freezing the ball, do something. We're running out of time. It's the fourth quarter. Make a move. How about this? Vote it up or down. It's not that complicated. Put it on for the vote. Let the public know where you stand. Are you for reform or you're not? Let's get it. Let's move it on.
This is a critical day for New Jersey because we're trying to move New Jersey to be more affordable. We have a governor who has to strengthen the political will to do the right things to help the taxpayers. And he's not getting the help from the legislature that he needs. We have over 60 pieces of legislation that we're going to be voting on today. Probably the most important piece of legislation that's going to affect the people in the state of New Jersey is the early release bill. A bill that needs to be corrected that's going to prevent people from coming out of jail early and committing serious, heinous crimes. That is probably the only bill right now today that we should be voting on that's going to be helping the people in the state of New Jersey that's on this board list. So I urge the people to please get to these Democratic legislators and tell them it's time to make New Jersey affordable again. Get us out of the mess you got us in. They drove us into this cliff, and we have a governor who wants to get us out of this cliff as fast as he can. He deserves the tools to do it.
Today's board list is a statement, a firm statement by the Democrat leadership of the legislature that they don't give a damn about the taxpayers of New Jersey. While I'm sure there are some bills on this list that are important to a number of folks, the critical bills that we need to get property taxes under control, to get local budgets at the local level, school level under control, are strikingly not here. And the Democrat leadership of the legislature is strikingly missing from a real proactive effort to make these things happen. Instead, we hear from them a debate about what tools were in the original toolkit or not. That's all garbage and meant to distract people's attention from the real issues of the day. If you add up the percentage of local budgets that the reforms we have on the table will affect, between health benefits reform, pension reform, arbitration, civil service reform, if you add these things up, we are giving control back to local officials and taxpayers, 70–80% of their budgets that were out of their control until now. That is some of the most dramatic, one of the most dramatic shifts in power from Trenton and the state to local officials and local taxpayers in the history of the state, maybe other states too. It's dramatic. So we need to cut through all these garbage debates that we're hearing, focus on the real issues, get these things done. Otherwise, the taxpayers are going to be holding a lot of people accountable this coming fall. Thank you.